Howdy, folks. I'm Mark, and today I am joined again by Billie Cox. Billie, thank you for joining me for this short talk about video games.
Hey, and thanks for having me.
Well, absolutely. Good to reconvene with you now that we are past all the nonsense. But you are listening to Quick Play, so let's get right into it. So we have been in the kind of lowercase Summer Game Fest. That also has the uppercase Summer Game Fest within it. But that's been going on since the Sony State of Play on May 30th to nearly 3 weeks later with the Nintendo Direct that happened for us earlier today, June 18th. This will go out tomorrow, June 19th. But we talked about, you and I, Billie, we talked about our expectations going in to all this nonsense. And now we're here to talk about a few things that stood out to us. So we've each brought 5 picks to discuss. And so we'll have 3 highlights, whether that's a game or an update or a whole showcase. One low light, just one big L that we saw. And then one a pick that's interesting. So we will deliver those in whatever order we darn well please. So, Billie, what's your first pick?
So the first one is more of, I guess, in the category, and
All right.
it's Harry Potter Quidditch Championships.
Okay, yeah.
So before we get any further, quick update. So
Yes.
what did you watch stream-wise for game revealing, and which ones did you just get news from? Because I feel like that changed a lot.
Yes.
I feel like I get excited when I watch something, but when I caught the highlights, excited, but I could feel less excited, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So we watched Summer Game Fest proper it together, actually. And so I think that was maybe the only one I watched totally live. The rest of them I kind of skimmed through the showcase. And there were a few, I think. Yeah, because mostly it was like I was doing something during the actual live time. But I would try to watch the showcase, just kind of skim through and skip stuff that wasn't interesting to me. But I did see, we saw this Quidditch game revealed live together.
Yeah, and I had question after question because it seems very self-centered. So I was like, is this going to be a free-to-play game?
Yes.
And I did my homework. So this is actually going to be a $30 game.
Okay. Smaller.
Yep, and
Interesting.
strictly Quidditch itself. There's no like side quests, it seems like, from what I'm reading on their website.
Yeah.
And then they're claiming that they're not going to have microtransactions. But if you get the Legacy Pack, you get a broom skin, a hero skin, a wand skin, and emblems.
Interesting. So all the stuff that you probably would be paying for with microtransactions is
What they're kind of rewarding. So
okay.
it seems all over the place, and then I'm just concerned, like, if I was a Harry Potter person, would I be excited for this? I don't know.
Yeah. This was one I sent to a few of my friends who are Harry Potter fans, and they were also confused of like, is this an update to Hogwarts Legacy or is this its own thing? And they're trying to explain like, no, it's its own thing. Don't really know much else about it yet. So I think they were a little disappointed that like they weren't getting this for free through Hogwarts Legacy essentially. But I'm curious about it. I did enjoy. There was like that Quidditch game that I had on PC, back in like early 2000s. I think it was also on probably consoles at the time.
Oh, it was. I had it for GameCube.
Nice. Yeah, I remember that being fun, but I have no idea how it hold up now. Any final thoughts on Quidditch Champions?
No, I would say I'm just very confused overall what they're trying to go with for this.
Yeah, I gotcha. Well, I will stick with the theme and also go with my interesting pick, and that is Lego Horizon Adventures. It's one of those things that on paper would make me normally go like, man, they'll make a Lego game out of anything these days. But 2 things really stand out in that. One, it looks really good. Like, this is the best looking Lego game. Particularly, the animation in particular looks a lot more inspired by the Lego movies. But number 2 is it's also releasing on PlayStation 5, but also PC and Switch too, which this is Horizon's a Sony property through and through. And so this is kind of, you see more of the flattening of exclusive games is continuing to happen, and now in Sony's camp as well. And so it just opens the floodgates, and I think in a lot of different ways. And even just on Lego's side, like notably, this is not a Traveler's Tales games, but it's made instead by Guerrilla Games, which made Horizon. And so, like, I'm probably not going to actually pick this game up myself, but I'm really curious to see what happens next for both Lego and PlayStation on these kind of parallel paths of exclusivity and just Lego's ubiquity. And I think this will be kind of a notable moment to look back on. Do you have any thoughts on Lego Horizon?
I think you hit the dots on most of the key points.
Yeah, it's just weird.
I think this was a given choice because when you look at exclusive, I can't say that word right now. When you look at it, this is a Lego game, so it kind of makes sense. Like you're able to get like a different audience completely, and if it was just on the PlayStation, it wouldn't do well, and it transitions with other Lego games. I feel like when it comes to PlayStation, this was the right move.
Yeah, it makes total sense. It just still, it's a decision. The decision that I'm surprised by is they just made the game at all. Like it makes total sense for it to be on Switch. Like it's a very family friendly game. But yeah,
I think Gorilla making it is what makes it look way better than what our typical Lego games look like.
Yes. Well, nice. Okay, what's your next pick here?
All right, let's see here. The topics. Low light. So I saw a tweet right before we started from Cheesy64.
Yeah.
Nintendo Direct. There was no Splatoon 3 news.
Oh.
And that's a first since the game's come out. So.
Wow. Yeah. Are they still doing Splatfest for it? Is it like that's now just is that dead?
I think they're still doing Splatfest, and they're kind of. It seems like their audience is predicting the end.
Okay.
From what I can gather.
Yeah. Interesting.
I thought that was a fun little tidbit of information because if you're not focusing on even the little free information of Splatoon, what is that team working on now, I guess?
Yeah. I think that team also does something else. Some other franchise, I can't remember now. But
do they help with Animal Crossing?
Maybe. I feel like it's like two franchises that you would not expect to go together are made by the same developer or same team within Nintendo. So I think it might be Animal Crossing, but I'm not totally sure. Yeah, that is a bummer to not have anything new there. There's no Splatoon representation at all today, so that's odd. I'll go with my first highlight, though, and that's also from the Direct today, and that is Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which I feel like on paper is maybe the biggest announcement of all of this, like especially for Nintendo fans. Like it's an all-new top-down Zelda game that's building off Link's Awakening, which is a beloved game, and it's kind of in that art style, but also could be potentially in that kind of gameplay approach from Link's Awakening, where you play as Zelda. Like this is the first official Zelda protagonist Zelda game. And that's completely wild. Like if you told me that's what we would get through this news dump, that would be the biggest deal out of anything we've seen. And it does feel like it's almost like it was in the middle of the direct. It's coming out in September. It's like kind of like, oh yeah, we made this thing for you, so I hope you enjoy it. But I am very excited about it. It looks really great. The main gimmick that you make copies or echoes of items. So it's kind of a twist on the Zelda formula. And I think it's kind of taken that whatever you can think of or multiple solutions building off Tears of the Kingdom. I'd be interested to see if that gets incorporated into this game. Yeah. Any thoughts on Echoes of Wisdom?
I love 2D Zelda games. I was concerned with Link's Awakening because of the art style and all that.
Yeah.
But man, it just slaps. And then you throw that same art style. Where we're at now with 2D Zelda is fabulous, honestly. I'm just stoked.
Yes.
I love the copy ability that we saw. I forgot who tweeted it, but they pointed out that there was other directions on the D-pads.
Oh, interesting.
So I'm pretty excited to see like if there's further abilities and how far they're going to push it.
Yeah. Yeah. It does feel like I would be sad if there's not more items than that staff. But I guess kind of items are what you copy. But I feel like there's got to be something more they're not totally showing us yet.
And then I see reactions already where people are saying that they're going to create little houses everywhere. Just treat it like an Animal Crossing game.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, man. Yeah, it just was funny. I feel like there are rumors of the Grezzo team is making an Oracle's remake or even a Link to the Past remake. It turns out they're making a whole new Zelda game. And then it also turns out it's with Zelda as the main protagonist, which is very exciting. You love to see it. All right, Billy, what's your next pick here?
So when we were watching together, I grew up having Fatal Fury as my fighting game instead of Street Fighter. And the whole time we were hanging out, Terry Bogard, I kept on calling him Ken.
Oh, yes.
And like, you never questioned me, and I was just like, I got home and I was like, oh, crap. I called Terry Ken the entire time.
I was like, maybe he's also Ken. I don't know.
He's just Walmart version of Ken.
The We Have Ken at Home.
I just thought that was just hilarious because like the whole time I'm like, no, they're both named Ken. That's what makes it so funny. And then I get home and I see the name and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
I feel like there's a Barbie joke in there somewhere. Well, that's okay. Are you excited for Terry and all of Fatal Fury folks joining Street Fighter?
Yes, and I'm excited. That was a game announcement, right? I did not go back, but it looked like there was a game announcement as well, right?
So they are coming as DLC to Street Fighter 6, but there also was like a new Fatal Fury announced, I think. Maybe? I didn't catch that.
Okay, I just found the website. Yeah, rev it up, unleash your fury, Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves. That's an awesome title. Okay.
That's a good name. Good name. Nice. Anything more on Fatal Fury?
That's my fighting game of preference if it's not Smash. So seeing it, growing up with it, not knowing it obviously well enough.
Man, that's okay. I trusted your judgment even if you were wrong, and I still trust your judgment even when you're wrong. So we'll roll with it. My next pick is South of Midnight. This is from the Xbox Showcase. This was my highlight from last year's Xbox Showcase, and this is my highlight from this year's. The vibes are immaculate. I am very deep into like that Deep South Bayou inspiration. We knew really nothing about how this game would work last year, just had the CGI trailer. So I'm excited to see that's a kind of more that third-person action-adventure game. I love that stuff. The gameplay itself looks a little standard looking, but I think the aesthetics and the context, kind of like it's got like a stop-motion puppet vibe even to it. That's really unique and cool to see. The combat being inspired by like embroidery is really cool. So I'm just excited to see more and more of this game. I think it's just it's not what you normally see in video games, and I'm all for it. Any thoughts on South of Midnight yourself?
Let me tell you right now, I have overlooked this completely, but you sold me. Oh my goodness.
Good. That's what I want. That's what we're here for. It looks so cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it now, and I'm like, yeah, no, for some odd reason, this never got in the memory bank.
Oh, man. If you remember from last year, it was like the CGI trailer of kind of the giant skeleton guy playing the blues. This is the actually showed game. Oh, okay. Man.
It was playing the blues,
you got some
and I
homework
still
now.
don't remember it.
Great music in both trailers.
Dang. I don't know why. Yeah, that's one of those that I just don't have any memory of.
No, well,
and that's what's so crazy about this. There's so many game announcements.
Yes.
How are we going to know all of it and remember all of it?
That is very true. All right, I think we've got 2 picks left each. What's your next one?
All right, so Nintendo Direct as well.
Yeah.
I think it's completely wild that we started with Palworld this year. And now here we are with a monster farming simulator again in a whole different type of
Oh,
genre. How do we get two of
yes.
these in a year?
Yes.
Farmagia. The name is wild.
Farmagia. No,
Farmagia.
I don't know.
And then
That is
I want to thank the war. What was the Warriors' names? It was like
I'll be honest.
Fragmatoids or whatever. And I was just like, this is the craziest name.
So I'll be honest, I kind of skimmed through this one. I was watching it after the fact with kind of under a time crunch. And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't think I'm into this. I'm just kind of skipped through it. So tell me
Well,
more. What else did you
I'm
like?
big on monster collecting, and this one's
Yeah.
just kind of cool because you're farming and it looks like a plant, but it slowly looks like it turns into a monster, and then you
Nice.
just get them off like you would a grapevine.
Nice. That's wild.
It
Well,
looks
good.
wild, and I'm pretty stoked about trying that one.
Nice. That'd be good stuff. I feel like it's slowly the shift has gone from farming sim into monster farming sim, and so we might see more and more now.
There's so many similarities in this too, though. I
Yeah.
just feel
To
like,
Palworld.
yeah, it's two
Interesting.
power world.
Huh.
That's why I'm
Never
just
know.
shocked that we're getting two of like they're so different, but the concept is near identical.
Nice. Interesting. Well, I'll keep an eye out for that one. My next, this is another highlight for me, and I'll end with my L. My highlight is UFO 50. Did you see this one at all?
Uh,
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Okay, so this is the fun but high concept stuff that I live for. It showed up in Day of the Devs, that showcase. I think it may have been elsewhere too, but it's from the Spelunky developers. And so their next game is actually a collection of, they made 50 like retro inspired games, kind of different sizes. Some of them are like full platformers. Some of them are like just arcade games. But the pitch is that these are from like a long lost fictional developer and console maker called UFO Soft. And so the trailer talked about that the games are connected in some ways. Like there's some kind of lore behind it. So kind of depending on how deep and how meta this goes, I think this could be something that's really special. But I also think like one or two of these games is just bound to go viral for a bit and have like a social media moment. I think this is something to look out for, especially knowing Spelunky and Spelunky 2 are very highly regarded games, and so I'm sure there's something that's just special about these. It's coming out in September, but only for Steam so far. But I feel like that will come to consoles eventually. Yeah. Anything more you've looked into this yet, or are you kind of looking it up
No,
now?
I was trying to look it up, and you were describing it as I was reading it. So
There you go. I've probably watched that trailer like 3 times, just trying to digest it all. It looks fascinating. Cool stuff. Okay, your last pick here. What you got for us?
let's go Call of Duty.
Really?
I have not touched it since Black Ops 3. So
Okay.
to see everything that they've done with it, and I don't know, for some odd reason, it gave me those high school memories, and I'm like, okay,
You're
I
in.
can come back to Call of Duty.
Oh, that's amazing. I love they sold you.
It,
Man.
they it just felt like Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Like they did the same color scheme. I don't know if they've been doing
Nice.
the same color scheme,
I have no idea.
except dropped out 4 and 5 and everything else between.
Yeah. Did you watch that whole extra showcase after the Xbox thing?
Oh no, I no, I like trailers and I want to see a glimpse of the gameplay, but I really don't care to see further.
Gotcha. Okay. Even that first trailer kind of sold you enough, so
Oh yeah.
I dipped out of watching that because I'm probably not going to play Call of Duty. I love that you are back into it though.
I don't know if
That's
I'm
good
back
stuff.
into it, but it's got me hopped enough that I'm willing to
Yeah.
see.
You'll check it out at least.
Oh yeah.
And coming to Game Pass day one, that's a big deal. So we'll see kind of what. That's also a interesting moment of like I wonder what will happen with that and kind of what will happen with Xbox going off of that. Not a surprise, but it feels consequential.
Yeah, that's wild because we can predict all the outcomes for that. And we kind of agree with it already beforehand. It's just which one is it going to be?
Yeah. I gotcha. We shall see. Okay. My final pick here. This is my L. So my low light, and my L. I'm giving it to us, the gamers. I think even us in our preview podcast of kind of our low expectations. There's definitely something special about E3, where it felt like there was always going to be this multiple big deals happening, and that's just not going to happen with Summer Game Fest. And I don't think we should expect that anymore. But I think in its place, over this 3-week period, we were shown maybe literally 1,000 games. Like hundreds and hundreds, if not 1,000 games were beamed into our eyeballs. And I don't know what more we could possibly want. I think we're way too reliant on like established IP or just AAA announcements to feed the hype train, when instead, all we got to do is just show up and be on the lookout for stuff that we might be into. Like UFO 50 was that for me, where just like I had no idea. Like obviously no one knew it was coming because it was newly announced, but it was just like, yeah, I'm into it. That sounds cool. I think this is different for like the big three. For the console makers, they're making a case as to why you should buy their system and want to keep investing in their system. But for kind of these other more collective showcases like Future Games and Wholesome Games, Day of the Devs, and I think even like Summer Game Fest proper, these are just platforms for getting games in front of us. And I think like Jeff Keighley maybe has done it to himself of like setting these high expectations. I don't think we were wrong to come with low expectations, but I don't know if we were totally right to. And I think it just takes different expectations. And maybe the idea is like come with no expectations, just that you will find a handful of games that you are interested in, because that's what happened to me this year. That's why I'm excited for it next year. That just, simply being surprised by something that I didn't know I wanted. So I think we should take all a little hype check. I don't know. What do you think?
This is their time. Preach, brother, preach. You just say everything.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm also talking to my own past self of like, come on, man. It's okay. You don't have to have expectations at all. Just enjoy it.
It's just the social media aspect, I feel like. I don't know if I had expectations before social media, because I was just like, well, okay, let's see what's happening.
Yeah.
Now there's like, I want to tell you guesses and theories.
Yeah. Well, our time is short here. Thanks for hanging out for this extra beefy episode for this extra beefy June. But before we go, how about, do you have any other like last minute honorable mentions you want to say? Like anything that you didn't get a chance to talk about already?
Very excited for Fable. And then I've never been into the Age of Empire games.
Yeah.
I have played what Jagex made, which is the makers of RuneScape. They had like 8 realms, which was a MMO real-time strategy game. So I've always wanted to find one, and this one just hit with me. They're creating Age of Mythology Retold.
Okay. Yeah. Well, nice. Could have been on the lookout there. A few others that I've got my eyes on are Neva. I think it's from the Greece developer. Looks good. Light Odyssey looks like if Tunic was Shadow of the Colossus, and that's for you, Nate McKeever. I think you should skate with Tim Robinson. Was a funny time. Indiana Jones still looks good. I'm still excited. They nailed the vibe. I think it'll be a good time. And also, I may finally get suckered into buying Switch Sports because the basketball DLC looks like a great time. Alrighty. Also, Metroid Prime 4 still exists. That's exciting to see.
I love the logo update too. So pretty.
Yeah, that's a cool. I feel like watching that trailer was like, oh, yep, that's a Metroid Prime game. We'll see more. So, well, Billy, before we go, we have our final segment here. What are you playing?
Cards, Universe, and Everything.
There you go. I just started Pentiment. So we'll see.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me, Billy. Where else are you out on the internet?
I'm on X as Nola Sky, but don't worry, I'll find you.
Of course. There you go. Well, thank you all for listening in. You can follow us on major podcasting services. You can find us on the proper socials at Quick Play Pod. And let us know, what were your highlights from Summer Game Fest 2024? And that's all the time we have for today. Thanks. Bye.